About 15 years. Getting on a bit now. They always say that real estate is something that continually drags you back in. You almost can't escape it, and that's every time I'll tell people I'm out and going to do something else. It's, the next person calls, please sell my house. So, I think ultimately real estate is changing, and that's why I am using the RESO platform. The industry at the moment and the market that we find ourselves in is incredibly hyped. You have a huge amount of buyers per property if you're doing your job well. And what I found was there's a huge amount of risk in that, and that a lot of real estate agents are not dealing with the multiple offer situation well, or in some cases compliantly. And I think that there's a much better experience for all parties that can be had. Firstly, it saves me a lot of time. I no longer do vendor reports. That is amazing. I no longer, am going to and fro with a lot of buyers and sending out a Section 32s or documentation for any of the sale, because I can simply upload it into that platform and they can download it themselves, which I almost use as a lead into, yes, you can have the documentation. I'll invite you to the sale. And once you actually log in, you can view all of that and you can make an offer. It's COVID proof. Well, the fact that you don't actually have to go anywhere to make an offer, counter offer, understand where you're at in the process, when none of us can leave our houses, I mean, of course, that makes it a lot easier. It also saves a lot of time. It comes directly to you. You can update the owner at any point in time. Saves all that inquiry conversation, because they can get a lot of their own information. Buyers are smart. Buyers are really smart. We make the mistake of thinking that they don't know what they're talking about, and they do. The whole process gives buyers that trust. They feel like there is some transparency. They feel like they know where they're at. They feel like the communication is there, and usually that's a lot of the time their issues that they find with agents within the industry. I love the snapshot reporting, because that gives me an overview of all of what has happened across that property's sort of lifespan, if you will. And I find that that's an incredible tool, not only to prospect with, but also to go into the living room with. So that's probably one of my favourites, along with the reporting, because I don't have to do vendor reports. I love the fact that, particularly in an unknown, and some people won't want to put the property live at the moment, but you can actually bank buyers there. So anyone who has inquired, I no longer have to go back either to Agent Box or do a search. They're all sitting there. And I love that. They're all sitting there waiting for you to update them through that platform. And I love that. Hands down, though, I have to say that probably the ranking would be one of my favourite tools that I do use in the RESO platform. And that is because whilst it gives that transparency, Chelsea, and whilst it lets the buyers know where they're at and communicates with the buyers and, prompts them to put their hand deeper into their pocket and get them upside down and shake them for coins, because that's our job ultimately at the end of the day. But out of that transparency, what I have found with other platforms, and this has been an issue for me, is that they see the other buyers' offers. And I know that a lot of agents do disclose buyers' offers. I'm not one of them. I don't want to go up in $1,000 increments. Thank you very much. And right now I can COVID proof this for you, and I can get you all the marketing done without even a photographer going to the property, but I can get photography quality photographs for you, and then I can COVID proof all of this, and we can control the process with multiple offers online through this platform, and you'll be updated the whole way through. And here's a snapshot of what that could look like for you. And then they just see how many people were interested, how many offers came through, the difference between where it started and where it ended, and go, oh, why would I not spend that amount of money on that? It's an investment. And I just want to put out there to the greater world that not only do I believe that this is the best online multiple offer platform, but I do believe it's the most cost competitive as well out there at the moment. Actually, they said that they found, and I got the same feedback, again recently, even those that have missed out still came to me, and this is not happening for a lot of people in the industry right now. Instead, they're getting complaints. And if you ring Consumer Affairs Victoria or the REIQ or any of the governing bodies, you'll probably find that the amount of complaints in that space are up. They are massively up. However, even those who miss out with the way that I choose to do things still thank me. And it's very tough as a real estate agent to get that scenario, because, ultimately you are working for the vendor. And to finish up with them having missed out on the property, happy to walk away because they wouldn't have paid a single cent more. They're happy with the transparent situation. You're happy knowing that you've done the absolute best by your owner. It's just a win-win. It's just a win-win. The feedback that I get is it's transparent, it's upfront, it's easy to use. Not one single buyer, Chelsea, hasn't been able to log in. And usually tech stuff is a nightmare for, your general person out there. And this is really easy for them to use. So thank you. Today's tenants are tomorrow's buyers. So I think that there's an incredible amount of people out there in the industry that don't treat people perhaps the way that they would like to be treated. And I say, awesome. Please keep doing it, guys. A lot of the incredible leaders that I've worked under in past times have always said to me, just try it on. Just try it on for a day. And you can be hesitant. I mean, a lot of us don't like change, let's be honest. No, I've always done it this way, Chelsea. I'm not changing it. I implemented it because it helps me to bank the buyers, it helps me to save time, it helps me to communicate effectively, it helps with transparency, it helps with new listings. Everybody is happy at the end of that process, including myself. And it negates a whole lot of risk that you've currently got inside of this industry at the same time. I cannot have a situation where a buyer comes back to me and says, I would have paid more. No, you wouldn't. Here's the evidence that you wouldn't. And I think that a lot of us moving forward, could possibly come undone or unstuck. But I think that ultimately the market is also going to change, probably sooner rather than later. And I think that, yes, you may not have as many multiple offer situations, but the risk factor is probably going to be more so in that scenario. There's a lot of these sort of systems out there, is probably the last thing that I do want to say. I have looked at a number of them, Chelsea. And one thing that I myself have found is not only is it cost competitive, and because if you're going to charge more, for me it's not the charge because it's not my charge. I want to know what the value add is going to be for my customer, my client, because that's who I care about at the end of the day. That's who I'm serving. The customer service, I want to say, at RESO, hands down, I probably haven't experienced customer service like it, in all honesty, in years from anywhere. So that's pretty wonderful. And it's just super easy to use. And I guess it suits the way that I like to do real estate, and it's just really upfront. And that's sort of, I guess, my thing anyway. So I haven't had a single person tell me yet that they don't like it, that they don't want to use it, that they didn't enjoy the experience, and that's from both sides, and it's pretty hard to accomplish.